Are you ready? This meeting is for um, all. This meeting, there were many delegations who wanted to come here from Sweden, Argentina, Australia, and they asked for a live stream with English translation. From this moment, we are broadcasting this event live stream. Now we start our official part, and I would like to introduce the president of the International Student Football Union, the Deputy Minister of Justice of the Russian Federation, Mr. Alkhanov. Secretary General of the International Student Football Union, Honorable President of All Ukrainian Football Association of Students, Pervushkin Oleg Arkadievich. He represents Ukraine. Member of Control Revision Commission, President of Lithuanian Football League, Vitas. And of course, Vice President of the International Student Football Union, Director on Security of the Russian Football League meeting, Alexander Arkadievich, Russia. Now is already on his way, and I think he's going to join us a bit later. Vice President of the International Student Football Union, famous player of Manchester United, Andrei Kaczewski. And unfortunately, because of family issues, Vice President of the International Student Football Union, famous Soviet and Ukrainian footballer Alexander Zavarov couldn't make it come here. And let me also tell you and introduce you multi-times champion of the National Student Football Union, 2 times champion of Ukraine, rector Astapov Mikhail Borisovich. And on behalf of all of us, I will introduce and we will give a round of applause Rector of Smolensk State Academy of Physical Culture and Sports and Tourism, Georgy Nikolaevich. Thank you very much for hosting us at this conference. Representative of the Russian organization of the Russian Football Union, I would like to introduce you a director on sports events, Oleg Vasilyevich. So, dear colleagues, let's start our meeting. I would like to give the floor to the president of the International Student Football Union, Aladashevich Alkhanov. Thank you, Andrei Nikolaevich. Good afternoon, dear colleagues, participants, and guests of today's conference. I would like to thank everybody for your participation, for coming here. We have lots of issues to discuss. It is important for young generation, people, opportunity to create conditions to do any sport. Today at this conference, we will discuss those plans and goals which are set by the International Student Football Union. Organization is quite young. It was created in 2015, and 7 countries participated in its foundation: Russia, Ukraine, Moldova, Kazakhstan, Lithuania, Belarus, and it had its important way and due to its work, due to international work, this work led us to the results. When today at this conference, we are going to discuss our further perspectives of development of the Students' Football Union. I'm very thankful, again, I want to emphasize, for an opportunity to come to Russia, um, to Smolensk territory, and together with us to discuss and take and listen to our offers, how this great work in the sake of our youth and the sake of our students, how shall we build it further, and how to and in what way shall we go as for further development of the Students' Football Union. I'm very thankful of those of you for those of you who have come here. Let me greet ex-president of Tanzania. He did a lot for development of relations between our countries. Moreover, he is the head of one of the largest universities. Thank you very much for being with us here. Thank you that you came here from Tanzania and participated at this conference. Let me thank you. Dear colleagues, I'm not going to. I'm going to cut a long story short. I wanted to share some dates with you. So 2015, it was the day of foundation of our union, and we also held one of the conferences in Bilek city in Turkey, and the foundation of the football union was formed. Our organization took active part in conducting 28th University, which was held in Kazan town. We took active part in the international at the International Students Festival in Sochi, where intercontinental games were organized with students from different countries. And I want to tell you about international tournaments which were held on the fields of Ukraine, Belarus, and where students and the organization itself built the format of creation of large international student football union. And so the foundation was made, in my opinion, which will help us today, tomorrow. Indeed, this foundation will help us to build serious, nice house of the International Student Football Union. I hope that today's discussion, today's presentation project on foundation of the World Student Football Union will be of an interest for you, especially for representatives of universities who came here. I do hope that next conference will be better as for will be bigger as for composition of participants. Even at this conference, we are going to discuss questions of larger and more real, particular organizational content, how to form the World Student Football Union. Again, I would like to thank all those representatives of universities of the world who have come here. I would like to thank for participation in our conference. And of course, I would like to wish interesting discussions, decisions, and I wish you good mood. Thank you. Thank you very much. I would like um, to tell you one fact. When I will share the history of foundation of our union with you. When we asked Mr. Alkhanov in 2012 to become the head of the International Student Football Union, um, we had two seasonal championship. It was FIFA World Cup in Ukraine, which started. No, sorry, it was champion in Ukraine, and Mr. Pirushkin, Secretary General of the International Football Union. And a second seasonal tournament, it was seasonal one. It took place in Lithuania. All these countries, as I understand, it has a usual format when teams visit each other. We understood at that moment that there are not so much financial support, and we need to follow the format in the large countries. That is why Mr. Alkhanov, understanding the world situation, he realized what we need here. And we need some kind of economic format of championships so that we could offer this unique experience to other countries. We have two formats of Ukraine and Lithuania, and nowadays, for 4 years, we have format of the National Football Students League, that being the president of the International Union, Mr. Alkhanov became a head of the board, and he helped me as the president of the National Student Football Union to try this format in Russia. And when I'm going to tell you the story of the International Student Football Union, I will pay a lot of attention at the National Student Football Union, because the foundation of uh, this kind of format should be used for the creation of the International Student Football Union, because which should include all the championships in all your countries. That is why, uh, starting this historic event, I would like to tell you that I'm going only to comment, and I'm going to give you historical material like some small video and some pictures, and you will feel the atmosphere which was at our conferences and championships. And you will understand the core of the format. And after coffee break, we will talk about it in details. Please apologize me. It's not about that we should understand our format. We invited you, dear participants, in order to share our experience and to show you the format. And we want to hear from you whether this format is applicable in your country. And then we want to get feedback from you. And what do you think of our format, which we have already created here in the Russian Federation, in Ukraine, in Lithuania? I do hope that the conference, and we, of course, should take into account all your feedback and your opinion, and to create the world standard which will suit everybody, today and future participants of the great Student Football Union. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. We are going to share our experience, and tomorrow we are going to listen to your remarks, your feedback, your opinion, and we are looking forward to hear your experience. Thank you very much for your comments. Dear colleagues, could you please show the first slide so that I could tell you about the history of creation of the International Students Football Union? In 2011, the Russian Football Union, at that time the president of which was Andrei Alexandrovich, you see him in this center, he offered to register in the Russian Federation the International Football Students Union. It was in St. Petersburg. I even can tell you a list of countries who participated. By the way, here there are many people who were witnesses of those events. Mr. Astahov, for example, who were at that meeting, and uh, there were not only representatives but also presidents of the football federations of Russia, Belarus, Lithuania, Kazakhstan, Moldova, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Czech Republic, Estonia, and Ukraine. So these countries gathered together and they decided, they signed a memorandum on creation of the International Football Union, which had inside of countries should promote development of students football. In some time, here on the pictures, you see pictures from the meeting in St. Petersburg, which has become a starting point. A memorandum was signed on creation. Here you can see the president of the Football Federation of Moldova, Pavel Chiban. So here a memorandum was signed on creation on the foundation. By the way, it's a historical picture. You can see Mr. Chauskas, who is in the audience today. He's signing a memorandum, and on the foundation of this memorandum of this meeting, uh, uh, in 2012, in the Russian Federation, International Football Students Union was registered. Please show me next picture. Next slide, please. Here you can see a picture which was made in Simferopol town, and all representatives of interested countries gathered together, and the founders of the International Football Students Union have become National Football League. I'm the head of this National Football Students Union and also Association of Students, and Mr. Pervushkin is the head of this association when we signed this memorandum. It goes without saying that within creation of the International Football Union, Students Football Union, the key moment was visiting Kiev region at that moment, and the Deputy Minister of Justice, Mr. Khanov, together with a delegation, they made assets. They met assets of the Football Students Union, and he laid the flowers to the monument, which has become one of the heroes of Chernobyl. You have all heard about Chernobyl catastrophe, and Mr. Akhanov, when he came together with the delegation, at that moment the registration was not even registered. He participated, and Oleg Arkadyevich Pervushkin and Shakila Viktor Nikolaevich, the president of the fund, he is here today. I would like to greet you today. On the left side, you see Alexander Zavarov, um, who came, and after laying the flowers, he participated in the Cup of Heroes of Chernobyl, and after his visit, this cup was held under the patronage of the International Football Students Union. You can see historical pictures. There was a key meeting with the president of the Federation of Football, Anatoly Konьков. A decision was made about the registration of the International Football Union, and Orlov State University has won it. You can see him here. Throughout the history of the Cup of Heroes of Chernobyl, it was the 5th tournament. Russian teams have never won. It was for the first time. It was the first time when the Russian team has won. And we managed to win this very prestigious students football tournament. These are small historical sketches. Next tournament, it's again historical moment. We held in Oryol. We took a decision that the winner organizes the tournament in his place. And you see, we had our own story. The chief or the head of the registered union, they have planted a number of the trees near the stadium. And this year I've been in this garden. It is in blossom, and it is important when we go to. We always leave a trace somewhere. We give our respect to the monuments. In this historical moment, one of the key meetings as for organization of international students football was meeting with Mr. Roshik in Kremlin as the result of university. He was the first vice president. First round of negotiations was held there about development of the International Students Football Union. And these key meetings were really important, and we appreciate an opportunity to communicate with our colleagues. A very important meeting was in Bilek, in Turkey. We managed to gather in 2012 quite a large number of delegates. You can see a historical picture. They were representatives of Turkey, India, of many countries. And we discussed development of students' football. And we conducted opportunity to hold inner domestic championships of seasonal nature. It's like a short-term period. It's like a week or two. And then the team loses its interest because these are short-term tournaments. So for us, it was very important to explain why International Union wants to organize seasonal competitions. It was in 2012, and here in Russia, we haven't launched yet our format of the National Students Football League. That is why we couldn't offer any format that could organize on the large territory students teams. And after 5 years, we can say that we have reached some success. At that time in Turkey, we were planning today's meeting. So this is a very historical moment. I would like to show you several key moments in 2015. We had a meeting in Rostov with the Oleg Matitsyn, Vice President Alexander Zavarov, and Oleg Pervushkin have also come. And we managed to understand in what direction we should move, because in a year we will launch a format. So we were trying to prove our point of view. As for organization of Russia of the first seasonal championship. These are historical pictures. 2013 September, Rostov-on-Don, All Russian Festival of Universities, of Federal Universities of the Russian Federation. Next slide. This is Kazan University, in the framework of which there is an executive committee. You can see members of the executive committee, representatives of Kazakhstan, Moldova, Belarus, Azerbaijan, Ukraine. We invited our colleagues to the Universiade, and we showed how Russia organized Universiade in 2013. It was a global event. A large number of countries. And as for International Football Students' Union, we also participated in it, in organization of these events, and we invited our colleagues to organize this event. And it is very important that our chief, our heads, Mr. Alhanov, he gave the prize to the winners, and we prepared a small video so that you could understand the level of these competitions, and so that you could feel the atmosphere at the university. Let me remind you that both in the female and male teams, the team of Great Britain has won. Please show the video which we would like to show our colleagues from the ceremony. Everything started as like this, from the initiative of Mexican team. They were the first, and then on the 10th minute, she individually defeated, and then so Mexican team realized themselves on the first moment. Lots of efforts were put in it in order to get win-win situation, but the first time was already in favor of Great Britain. I show you this video because it is female football. General Secretary FIFA, she asked to develop not only male students football but also female one as well. So we show you extracts from the federal games of female teams, and we would like to tell you that International Students Football Union, it develops not only male football, but together with our partners, we would like to pay your attention that female football also deserves its attention. You see what emotions they face, and we would like to pay your attention at female football as well. And these were very bright events. You see tears of girls, and we would like to compare. You see how thrilling it was that characterize the tournament in Kazan. But these emotions, which maybe men, they don't have such emotions as women. And you see Mr. Alkhanov, president, and how they give the prizes to the winners of the universities. They give golden medals. And the historical point, when we make foundation of the development of the international students football team, and women female team was awarded, it was very, very symbolic. And it was very interesting. You see how many emotions, tears. It is worth winning, believe me. Here is a person who has won university twice, Mr. Pervushkin. He has been a champion in the university twice. He has twice won the European Championship. So we follow his success. We have always twice won the championship in Europe. I would like to show you next video and to introduce you to historical events. And I have visited so many events together with my colleagues, and even Mr. Alkhanov said that university in Kazan was held on a very high level, and I'm sure that the World Cup World Championship, which will be held in less than a month in Russia, it will be also on a very high level, and it will be memorable. We have some technical issues. We will show you a small presentation of the National Student Football League, and then we will show you several videos which will tell and share emotions what is going on the pitch of the National Students Football Union. The presentation, the National Student Football League. Next slide. Let me remind you that the format uh, of the National Students Football League, which we presented, it started in September in Tambov. We managed together to collect 8 teams, which have become first on-comers who wanted to show the new format. And many universities, they were quite skeptic, and they got used to the standard of the classical format, and nobody believed in the success of the format at that time. And based on the history of the National Students Football Union, Ms. Dalhanov and me as a president, we tried to protect and to prove that we were right as for the format. Now, pay attention that first 8 teams, team from Tambov, they took a risk and they tried a new unknown format. And I will tell you that with the help of these teams, we managed to demonstrate all advantages of participation, and accordingly, next season there were much more seasons. There were 16 universities, and we couldn't invite everybody. Universities started coming to our office and asking us to allow them to enter the National Students Football Union. This is the geography of towns which are covered by the National Students Football Union. The format is unique. Each university, in the framework of the competitions, holds once a year a domestic tournament, which hosts 3 teams. These teams play between themselves together. So there are 3 days of games. Every day there are 2 matches, and the results of this tournament are included in one tournament table. And then we get, if we have 16 teams, these are 16 tournaments. 8 tournaments are held in autumn and 8 tournaments are held in spring. And when all these tournaments and all the results will be written in one tournament table, and mathematically it is done that not a single team cannot meet each other more than once, these teams have more 3 games to play with each other at least once. So these 3 games we had these final tournaments where they play these 3 games, and in their table it makes that they played with each other once. So a year they play at the domestic tournament, and they have 4 tour tournaments, and they participate in 5 tournaments, and within a year they play 5 matches. First tournament is usually held in September, then in October, then in March, in April, and in May. So they get minimum load, physical load. They are students. They also need to study. That is why they have an opportunity to study. They have minimum load, and they meet each other with all teams from Kaliningrad to Vladivostok. Can you imagine this distance? We set their means, financial means, because the team from Kaliningrad is not going to Vladivostok over 9,000 square kilometers. They meet on the neutral ground. so we save transport expenses. And secondly, second advantage, first advantage is economic. Second one is as students, they have only 5 tournaments a year. Based on this, it allows them, it gives them an opportunity to get education, but at the same time, they participate in the series championship, where they play with all teams, and this championship is very close to the format of the professional teams. These are the this is the foundation. We will also discuss it. Just wanted to share a couple of words with you, especially when there is a large distance between towns. Informational broadcasting is also very important. Our competitions are supported by our mass media, federal mass media. All 120 matches of the National Students Union were broadcasting live stream. As now you can see, this is our live stream. There, of course, there is computer graphic. There are repetitions. There are commentators after each game within an hour. The most important moments are cut, edited, and then this video are posted on the social networks. After each tournament, all goals are cut and edited, and there are competitions for the best goal of the tournament, best goal of the month. We want to solve the main task of the National Students Football Union, and the main task is to attract a large number of students' attention, so that they would follow healthy lifestyles, so that students of universities would follow their teams, they would vote for their teams, they would worry about them. That is why we take interviews after the games. A large number of students, they are the fans, and these are permanent fans. And every year 20% of them are renewed, because each year somebody graduates from the university, somebody does something else, and they are worried about their team, and they have an opportunity to follow their team even if it plays far away. There are bright examples when together with the rector, there are 300-400 people. They gather together and they watch our matches, which are played very, very far away. As for other universities, there are live streams, there are informational videos. Moreover, we make a large number of final videos. We make final magazines. Some of them are in. You see that we gave the prize to the University of Kuban. I wanted to show you not only pictures but also some videos, so that you could understand how the tournaments are held, what atmosphere, what emotions they have. Please switch on the first video. You can see all that work. It's a very strong video. The first opening of it was Krymskov town. It was in 2015.
So these are cuts from edits from the start matches between Kuban State University and Saratov State University, their main rivals. This is a small video from the opening of the first championship. If you remember, the tournament it is as a rule it is held at the end of the season, and then they started, and we tried this format. We needed to show a new universities a level of the competition, and so that they would see all the peculiarities, and so that in their countries they could hold it on the high level. At that year, we organized not only closing tournament, but we made opening tournament. So as for the World International Students competition, so that our universities would see on what level such events should be held. You see, these are usually some events before the tournaments. We should understand that our students event, this is first of all holiday for students, holiday for fans. If we don't make this holiday, this atmosphere, the level will decrease. Please, next video. So all teams are very decisive. This season, there are 16 teams. Development of the students' football is planned actively. And team of organizers did it best to organize it on the high level. We see how people from the early morning till the late evening, these tournaments were held all over the country, from Kaliningrad to Simferopol. So we have a lot of work, but we really enjoy our work. We always have positive feedback, gratitude of teams and fans and spectators. And a wish to develop students' football gets support from the Ministry of Education. Under football, we understand not only a kind of sports, but also we include fans, support group who support footballers, and they have become a part of university. They make university. That is why when we other sports organizations, they also try to apply this format. We saw the progress
broadcasting. It is a union is getting bigger and bigger, and this union is quite new but very active. I think this is a great union, student sport. The winner has become the team of Smolensk, and the next town to host this tournament is Saratov. A peculiarity of this video is that, of course, in your countries, universities need to interact not only with ministry with education, with the mayors, with state authorities. The union, of course, as you see, there was interview with the Minister of Education and Minister of Sports, and one of the important interaction with our Russian Football Union, and I'm sure that in your countries it is very important, this interaction, and in your national federations of football and with the national sports organization. So we showed you interviews of people who support us throughout the year. Next video, please. On the 3rd of July, in Moscow, the National Students Football Union, they have selected the strong team of the group. General partner is the GOS State Lottery. The aim was to invite the leading universities and to create serious competitions between them on the high level. The strongest teams of 10 universities have met: Kazan, Rostov-on-Don, Cheboksar, Nachik, St. Petersburg, and Moscow. And the winner has become a football team from Kazan, Pavoshka Academy of Physical Sport and Tourism. So the team is going to fight for the championship next year. We have been preparing throughout the whole season because this is prestigious competition. A task was set, and we're going to work even harder. Special prize was given to the Russian State University named after Kosygin for their strong will for the victory. Students' football in this regard, it is very important because this is a step to professional football. When our kid graduates from the football school and when he's not in the professional team, and we have about 80-90% of students like this, he cannot understand what to do. And here we are, National Student Football Union, and we continue development. Thank you. The key moment of this video is interaction with non-governmental structures, and here we showed interaction with state lottery who supported us. The format was really enjoyed. That the first year there were 8 teams, then there were 16 teams, and today we have premier group at the final of which we are here, and these are other teams. And we have a smaller group. There are 13 teams, and these teams between themselves, and there is a serious fight. And we paid attention that organization of the competitions are not different. There are not so many fans now, but it's only the question of time. And I think even in the first group, there will be many fans. So the international tournament of students and also teams from China were invited. From the first minutes of matches, Saratov team was about to win, and at the beginning they had an advantage. Up to the second time, after a break, uh, uh, a team from China also hit its goal. Uh, so this was um, a principle to win this championship. We always have to win these domestic championships first of all in respect of for our fans, and we would like now to do even a better job. And this league unites sportsmen from Kaliningrad to the Far East. The idea was born to create the World Students Football Union. We decided to start with China. We invited two Chinese teams, told them about our formats, and also cultural ties are being set, except sports ties, and it helps people to learn the language. Now we already work with and cooperate with Chinese university this year, and we negotiate, and they will come to us more often. And students from Saratov have won with a score 5-1. And this experience exchange has been useful for both teams. Thank you very much. It is a very important direction. That is why I have showed you this video. This was the first step, was quite successful. International Football Students Union invited two teams from China, which have come to Saratov, and we had a friendship tournament. At our tournament, we planned, and two strong teams, they have met in one tournament together with two Chinese universities. And today, unfortunately, our colleagues couldn't make it to come. We have told everything what we share with you today. They really enjoyed it. They saw the level of development of the National Students Football Union, and they were the first to give a lot of interviews and share feedback. And it was their offer. Let's create the World Students Football League. Not, it was very important for us. And the most important, the result of this tournament is interaction between universities, except football. For us, it was great opening because rectors of these universities they support relations not only due to sports but also due to some scientific conferences. And upon our interaction and organization, they invited these universities to China. And our universities now they go to China. They organize the same tournament there, and it is the first international tournament between two countries. It is one of our offers, so that if, for example, not all the teams can join the World Union, but we can start it on the bilateral basis. Like we go to your country, your people go to our country. So the next video. This was the closing match of the previous season. Smolensk State Academy has become the winner. And the rector of Smolensk State Academy, he said that the next final tournament will be held in Smolensk. I answer a question why we conduct this conference not in Moscow but in Smolensk, because champion of the last year has become Smolensk State University, and according to our rules, the winner hosts the next tournament. So that is why we held our today's conference here. This is Sochi, the World Students Festival. The National Students Football Union has become the main operator on football among more than 10,000 sportsmen. This festival was successful, and I hope that everybody enjoyed it. You're great. Everybody who participates in this great youth holiday. I would like to thank you for your support and for an opportunity to for giving an opportunity to be here. And we are ready to support and to develop our cooperation in the future. Thank you. Thank you. You saw our emotions. Our team has become the championship of the first intercontinental tournament. We invited continental teams, and we managed to invite all teams from students team from all continents. In festival in Sochi, we have many amateur tournaments. We conducted many friendship tournaments. You saw championships between the team of Russia and the world teams and this intercontinental tournament. And the main thing that we managed to invite the Secretary General of FIFA so that she would visit our final match, and she was watching it together with us. Between the National Students Football Union and National and European Students Football Union, and the emotions were very incredible. And within 2 times, it's almost 2 hours, I was telling her what we want to do, what we have already done here in Russia, and what we would like to do in the future. And the most important is that we would like to share our experience with other countries. And she said, Mr. Stukanov, indeed, you have already done a great work and you need to share your experience. And she actually helped us. And after that, the idea was born to invite international community to our tournament, where we could tell what we can do and how we can help you uh, to do something in your country. Maybe you have your own format already. And this is the main task of the international union, to unite all those people who want to develop football in their country. Thank you very much. And next video, please. I'm sure what we have done here today in other towns, that great work which we conduct in our universities, we do it for our youth. Step by step, we are moving to the final stage of our first part of the meeting. We would like to show you several videos. These videos, which we are going to show you, they are made by the universities. You see, now you watch the video by the Russian economic university named after Plekhanov. That's their tournament, that's their video, that's their work which they make in their university. And before we go to coffee break and have a small rest, I would like to show you the video so that you could feel the emotions. What is done in our towns. And let me show you next video. And they make these videos and they broadcast videos till next tournament on the informational platforms. This is Smolensk, where we are. Final tournament of Smolensk stage of the National Football Students Union. From the 8th till the 11th of October, there was a fourth tournament of the National Students Football League. There were several universities, including Russian economic university named after Plekhanov, and Eduard Baryanovich, chairperson of the State Committee on Physical Sport. They were also prorector on sports, Alexei Alexeyevich, and the most expected game was Yuzhное Derby, South Derby, and between Kubansky State University. And the score was 1-0 in favor of Rostov team. Thus, after 6 games, the South Federal University held the first place. Next stage of the will be held in October in Kazan, at the Kazan State Technical University. These are good perspectives of student sports. It's good that such person as Tukhanov, who has promoted students union very actively, he's a real leader of the sports movement. And it's good that there is such a person, and there are very strong teams. Thank you very much for what you're doing in favor of our Russian students' sport. And I told you that the results are scored not according to the results of the tournament, but they are written in the one tournament table. If you were attentive, different places are named. There are 16 teams in the tournament. All the scores are fixed, and then within a year, you can understand the place of the team in the table. This is St. Petersburg State University. And just pay attention. This is the first group of our competitions. This video was made several days ago. It was made several days ago. And I have already said that right now there are not so many fans, but guys participate with pleasure. Teams are new. They entered the national union not so long ago. We invited them to exactly as you, and we showed how to conduct domestic tournaments. And based on this video, you see how that they do their best. And there are also some entertainment events in between the breaks. But we see that this video is very emotional. This video is made by one of the leaders of the National Students Football Union of Krasnodar University. As you see, there are more fans. There is their fan zone, their fans. There is culture. This team has been playing for 4 years and more than 10 years in the All-Russian of Russian Football Union. It's another level of students' competition. It's a very unique atmosphere. A great number of fans, and they have their own attributes. I'm a fan of a State University of Kuban. Who is your favorite player? Number 50, number 10. It's just a guy with the number 10. It's very interesting and exciting, and I think that next tournament, which will be in Yevpatoria, will be also very interesting. Could you please tell us about your impressions? The game was very good. I really enjoyed it. I don't know their names yet. I really liked players under the numbers of 6, 7, 8. Not a single game goes without your ball. It's hard, so I had to do it to do my best. And there are so many fans, and it's really motivating. And of course, due to all my girls, to my partners who helped me, who passed me the ball. I would like to thank all the organizers, and I hope and that's the winner. And you see, there is another level of competition. You see that these are the leading students club of the world. The team always interacts with fans, and the fans really support their team. And if the team is playing on the other ground, they are very supported, and it's important to see how the head of the university, they are very accurate about the organization of the domestic tournament. They did their best and they invite professional footballers to the tournaments. For example, they invited the player from Georgia who plays for Krasnodar and who came to welcome our students at our competitions. Our country is multinational. In Kuban State University, there are many citizens not only of the Russian Federation, um, but also people from Vietnam, for example. It's very interesting when foreign students, when they studied our university, they have an opportunity to play for the university. And this university has what to learn from in terms of organization of football community. In October, in Pavorsky State Academy on Sports and Tourism, the first tournament of the National Students Football Union was held. To the capital of the Republic of Tatarstan, teams from St. Petersburg Polytechnical University, named after Peter the Great, Moscow Pedagogical University, and Chuvarsky State Pedagogical University. These teams have come to the capital of the Republic of Tatarstan. Within 3 days, they will play between themselves. The participants of the first group, they were welcomed by the honorable guests. I welcome you here on the territory of the best academy of sports in the Republic of Tatarstan. Just thank and applause our people for your game. I wish you great success. And first of all, I would like to thank for an opportunity to conduct tournament in the students' capital of the Russian Federation. Welcome, and let the strongest win. For our guys, it is great experience, and welcome our guests, competitors. Happy holidays. And competitions is one of the most important for the university, so the comfortable conditions were provided for the guests. We always to host our guests on a very high level so that they feel themselves comfortable. We want them to come back again and again. The level of organization is very high. For each sportsman, for each student who participate in the National Student Football League. That is why for us it's a very favorable tournament result between the sportsmen and students. And due to successful interaction and cooperation between the rector of the State Pavorsky Academia and the chief of the football club, the team of the from Tatarstan represents the republic on a very high level. The tournament, we participate in the tournament for the first time. It's all Russian level. It's very high level of competition. The guys should have more and more practice. It forms their character. And of course, we are not a sports university, and it's important to perceive defeat not as something bad. The team is a newcomer, but they do their best, and we are looking forward to this team in the Premier Group. They hit several balls to the footballers of Chuvarsky pedagogical universities. 5-0. In the second game of the second day, footballers of Moscow State Pedagogical Universities, they won St. Petersburg University. And tomorrow Kazan is going to play against another team. And maybe they will play together with the Moscow State Universities. Come to support footballers. All games take place at the stadium Burevestnik. And all the information you can find on the official website. For us, participation in All Russian Union, it is an opportunity to play with leading students' teams. And of course, we set the tasks and we wish a team success to enter national league. And I see in this tournament interesting teams and players. It is a very important video for us because it is the video by the winner from the last year. You see, the team has just joined us. It is an advertising commercial. It is broadcasted on TV in Kazan town. It's a students' capital of the Russian Federation. There is Pavorsky Academy on Sports and Tourism, and a rector Yakubov, Mr. Yakubov. In several hours he should join us, and you will also have an opportunity to communicate with him. He has a large experience in participation of universities and conducting such competitions. Next video will show. It is also in Kazan, but a different university. We don't have any limits as for a number of universities. On behalf of Moscow, there are 2 teams. On behalf of St. Petersburg, there are 3 teams. On Rostov-on-Don, more teams. So this is Kazan Aviation University. This is an institute that has nothing to do with physical sport, but they have a very strong team, and they have their own stadium, which I demonstrate you. And they have some renovation now, and I think we're going to see this team in the near future. Next video, please. And the 13th tournament was hosted by the Saratov universities, and the competitors were teams from Crimea, from Moscow, Smolensk. Honorable guests at the opening ceremony have become a rector, deputy chief of state authorities of Saratov, and president of the National Football Students Union. And this game was devoted to the 71st victory in the Second World War. And Saratov University hosted this game. As a result of the tournament, Saratov team is a leader. Crimean Federal University, it got 6 points. You saw a video from Saratov. Saratov has always their global opening ceremonies. More than hundreds and hundreds of people participated in it. And you can imagine when people raise their flag, it's a very interesting moment for the future. We decided in Saratov to invite a Chinese delegation because we know that it's a very serious university and it's a very global thing. We did our best. Of course, we have many videos like that. Maybe it would take us another week to show you these videos every day. We have a large number of students, and of course, and the atmosphere in these regions is very kind, is very nice. And around all these students, there are many honorable guests, and it is my pleasure that we managed to show you and to share the atmosphere of the organization of National Students Football Union. And I would like to continue after coffee break based on what we showed you on the National Students Football Union, we would like to continue our conversation on perspectives of development of the same format of the experience exchange of organizing the same holidays in your countries, where we could invite leading politicians in your countries, heads of sports, of educational institutions. So let's drink a cup of coffee and then go back here and let's continue our communication on development of international football. Are there any questions? Let's thank him for this great speech. I hope that our colleagues, guests, it was interesting for them about the experience and traditions and about the initiatives which are held by the International Student Football Union. I hope that after lunch we will continue our conversation and discuss. I mean, after coffee break. And if you have some offers, you are more than welcome to do it. So go straight, and there will be a coffee break. And there are translators. You see them in beautiful t-shirts. Please stand up so that they could see you. You can come to them and they will help you to communicate. So enjoy your conversation. Have a nice coffee break.